Welcome back. We've been speaking to Tosin Ogwe about her story. So just before we went over here, you were telling us about your husband
Yes.
and how you met and how it was different. So going on from there, just tell us a bit more. When you say it was different, just continue from there for us.
Yeah, like I said before, his nature. I mean, again, looking back, I tend to attract the same type of men anyway. Calm, peaceful, non-aggressive. However, his was on a different level of he wasn't interested in the other stuff.
Yes.
He was he just saw me. He wanted to see me, and
so it was more interested in a relationship,
yeah,
in friendship, rather than just taking advantage.
Yeah, he was not. He was a true gentleman, and he still is a true gentleman. So, and I think that struck out to me.
Talking about that true gentleman, I know that you said that didn't even impact you on how you have a generic view about men generally, and you shared a scenario where even in your business, which you're going to talk about in a few minutes, in your business, even when your clients approach you, you look at how the attitude of the man is even towards the women, because you do video photography for weddings.
I'm a videographer.
Yes, tell us a bit more, because I found that really enlightening.
So for me, because of the way, because I didn't really come from a background where I know what a man and a woman relationship should be like. So my knowledge of how men should treat women was just based on what we saw on TV and how I saw other people treated their partners. But what my husband does differently was completely different. So he's a gentleman. He treats me with respect. I don't even remember if he's ever even raised his voice at me. He's just very calm, patient with me. And sometimes I find that as a problem. It's like I'm digging. So when, for example, if a client, so I'm a videographer, so if a client approaches me and I see certain elements of, I don't know, disrespect towards the woman from the man, I start to raise eyebrows like, is this gonna work? Because I don't know if it's a good thing, but I measure. It's like my husband's raised such a high standard
for you and for other men.
Yeah, so sort of like, every man should be like that? Not necessarily, but I just have this level of expectation. I'm not expecting men to open the door for me.
No, but at least a level of respect.
Yeah,
yes.
And that allows me. I don't know. It allows me to view men differently, because based on what I've been through, I should really not like men.
That was what I was going to say. Yes.
I shouldn't really like
them. Because
all
the stages of your abuse has really come from them, Exactly.
Yeah, majority, 99%. So. Yeah. So I shouldn't really 100% like them, to be fair, but I love men. And then getting to know my dad now, at my later stage in life, he's an amazing man.
Wow.
My brother, he's a cool dude as well. So it's sort of like I'm surrounded with men who actually treat women with respect, and now my circle has changed. I'm more exposed to the church I go to, the way pastor talks about his wife, the way, for me, it's just so fascinating that there are great men out there. So I get so annoyed when I hear all these conversations around men are trash. It's like, actually, no, not all men are trash.
Yeah, very true. And for me, I can identify with you that there's been a healing process. For you to have, even irrespective of all that you've been through, to still be able to embrace and see the other side of things.
Yes.
And again, God's beauty.
Yeah.
God's beauty. It takes a situation that is supposed to be ugly, and it just remolds us, what we've gone through, and you've ended up with a man that is literally beautiful.
100%,
and has the fear of God and all of that in him. You were talking about your business. Tell us a bit more about your business and what you do.
Oh, so wedding videographer. So I'm mainly known for that. I'm mainly known for filming weddings.
What's your business name?
Christiana Andrews.
Okay.
So
why that name?
My middle name's Christiana.
Okay, that's what the C in your name is.
Yeah. And then Andrews is my husband's name.
Okay.
And I just added the S.
Okay.
So that's where Christiana Andrews came from.
You did that to honor him.
We can say that. Well, he's a major investor in the business. So silent partner.
Okay. The one that put most of the money down.
That never gets his money back.
Nicely said. Well done. Right.
Yeah.
So in the your business world, from what you've told me, you've done over 300 videos. Will I be correct?
Yeah.
Wedding videos. Will I be correct in that? And you said something very profound when we were talking, that you actually pray.
Yeah, we're starting to pray now. Obviously, when we first started,
which is fair enough.
That was, but now I feel as though it's so important because you don't know what spirits you're walking into. You don't know what forces. You don't know the guests' motives. So for me, I feel right now it's very important that myself and my team are covered because mental health, I don't play with it. I don't want to carry that energy back home to my kids and my husband.
Which is very true.
And I don't want my team to carry that home either. And again, we pray over our couple. We don't want divorces. You know, I don't want, I mean, we're living in a real world, but if we can at least prevent, we'll usually pray, you know, when we get to the location, just pray that God covers the event. But beyond the event, God should cover the couple that get married, that they would, through us, the CA team, through the love story that we're making for them, that they will always feel...
and it's a love story, isn't it? That's what you do with your videos.
100%, and we make it with love. That's actually your wedding films made with love.
Right.
That's our tagline, and God is love. So for us, it's... For me, I'm very conscious of that now, and now I feel like I'm going to get quoted on that soon. Like, did you pray today?
Well, for me, that's a beautiful thing because as Christians, you know, the love of God should be able to impact, and it should project in everything we do.
Yeah.
And honestly, I looked at some of your videos, and there was this warmth about the videos. I mean, different people do videos, wedding videos, and you see them, but there's just this warmth when you watch those videos. It's like it's telling a story, and it's like the beginning of lives that are going to be built together. You know, and the fact that you pray for the couple, it's not everyone that does that. You know, it's a business. At the end of the day, you're going to be paid, so you don't really have to feel that you've got that connection, but you do that.
For me, it's important.
It is, yeah.
And I learnt those lessons from my old bosses. So I've not been a boss for all my life. I've always been under. I learnt that from, I used to work for Nollywood Movies, and I learnt that from the bosses. They used to have Monday prayer meetings. I thought that was weird at a work setting, but actually that was a healthy foundation that stuck with me. So that's what I learnt from them.
Okay, thank you. There was a situation where you had tuberculosis. Can you tell us a bit about that and what that led to?
Gosh, TB. In 2011, just prior, before I got married in 2010, I kept on coughing up blood, but I didn't take it seriously. I just thought, maybe a bad cold or something. So after we'd gotten married, one day I started working in Sainsbury's in the fridge. I think that triggered more than I worked in the freezer, so stacking up and cleaning up shelves. And I would go home after work and I would just be in pain and I would cough up blood, and I was losing weight, but I didn't realise all of these. No, not at all. You would never think TB.
No, exactly. Yeah, you probably think it's a cold or flu that's just elongated.
Yeah, that's how it felt. And my husband, so one day I was sleeping and apparently I was dripping blood from my mouth. And my husband woke me up, and I'm good at just slagging things up, like, whatever, I'm tired, please. But he called the ambulance, and they was just like, we don't understand how she's still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, it took them a while to diagnose it as TB. They were testing for cancer. They were just doing all sorts of tests. Wow. TB was the last thing that they were thinking
isolated?
About. 100%. And people, when they came into my room, they would wear a mask and covered up. But whilst I was isolated in that room, I used to pray to God to get me out of that space. I just hated it, just mental health. I just didn't feel right, and I just wanted to get out, and I just used to hallucinate and see things. I felt like that was the end of me for a moment. And I always say, God has a sense of humour. He will save me for something a bit more precious and better. So TB wasn't nice.
And all the drugs you were taking?
10 antibiotics a day for 1 year, for 12 months. And I would have to physically go into the clinic to take it in front of them to make sure that it's kind of like a child. You take these medicines and you have to open your mouth to prove that you've taken it. Wow. So that, because I was technically still under quarantine, even though I was allowed to move freely, as long as I was on that medication. And that delayed, interrupted us from having kids. And
were you not told it might even have an effect on you having children? Yeah.
They did, but it didn't really hit home until when we actually officially started trying, and nothing was happening. And then obviously that was after the TB and everything, and they referred us to a gynecologist, and because of my TB, they suggested IVF. Did I just say my TB? I don't have it anymore. DTB.
No, their TB.
Their TB. We're not claiming it.
No, we're rejecting it.
They recommended me to see a gynecologist. Okay. We did a keyhole surgery to check my tubes and everything. We were due to start the IVF procedure, but a month prior to that, I'd already conceived. Naturally, but it just felt like a long.
To that story.
One thing in common with both of us. It was such a long journey, just trying to have kids, and then, gosh.
Well, you got 2 now, man.
I got 2 beautiful daughters.
Thank God. And after 2 miscarriages?
Yes. So, well, in between. So the first one came, and then I had the miscarriage in between, and then I've got the middle one. Well, I've got my second daughter, and then I had a miscarriage. So we're just.
You were in labour for 7 days with one of your children, weren't you?
Yeah. The other one I didn't even bother. I was like, straight C-section, please.
7 days.
7 days. It started off with gas and air. And then all I could just be hearing is petadine, metadine, tadadine.
Everything was doing in your body.
Literally, I felt like a drug machine by the end of it. I couldn't push, and they just didn't know what was wrong. The baby was fine. So usually they would take the baby out if the baby is distressed. But I was in labour. We couldn't push out this baby. This baby was just there. But I was in pain, and it was like, what are we going to do? And I don't know why they didn't just get the baby out, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a long time.
Very long time. My body had given up by then. And I remember when it was the final straw, they eventually, what was the word? Induced me.
Okay. And then the baby came out finally.
She didn't come out. They had to force her out.
Oh, wow.
They had to get her out, and after that, all we could just hear was a rush of blood.
Wow.
The room flooded with blood.
Well, thank God you're here. The babies are here. It's the glory of God.
Amen.
You recently had a program.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that as we round up.
Nom experience. So that's off the back of my book. After releasing the book, everybody felt a bit cheated with the style of the way, I suppose as an artist or creative, should I say, I'm not an artist, I'm a creative. The style of the way I wrote the book was to start a conversation, hence why I'm here.
Very engaging. I started reading and I couldn't believe it. I was saying to you that I don't think I'll have time to read.
Yeah.
I started reading and I literally did not put it down until I finished it.
Yeah.
That's exactly
everybody says that.
I started it. I was like, oh, let me just glance through a few pages. I'm like, wow.
Everyone says
I'll just continue it. And that was when I sent you the message.
Everybody says that, and it wasn't done purposely. I'm just a lazy reader, and I wanted to create something I could read quickly.
I'm sure a few people will hold up to that, especially in the generation we got now.
So we created a nom experience off the back of that to hold different conversations around the book. The first one was the healing edition. Obviously, that's what the book is about, healing, and moving off from that, we will be talking about different things. The next edition would be about men and emotions.
Oh.
Yeah, and then love and sex, like that. So,
for them to be able to open up,
I feel like there's a lot of walking men that are numb, and they just feel like their job is just to go out, provide, no one cares.
Exactly.
We need to get to their heart.
We need to look after our men. It's not all about the women and emotions.
Nah. Imagine if our men are whole, what life would be like.
I know. I know.
Us.
It would really, really, really be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a lovely experience having you here.
Thank you.
As we sign off, I just feel like you should share something with anyone that's been through something similar to what or they're going through it. What would you say? What held you? What was that space? I know you've talked about God. Share a bit about how you held on to Him during those periods?
For me, in all those periods, I felt like God was holding on to me, and not necessarily me holding on to God. And I feel as though we should always try to search deeper within our hearts, and in our pain, know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and try not to dwell. Look for the healing that you're looking for through whatever stage, capacity, and my big thing is don't isolate yourself. That is one thing I was fantastic at doing, but please, whatever you're going through, share it with someone trusted, and then start seeking the right healing, the right way, or most importantly, talk to God, because you can talk to as many people as you want to talk to, but God listens quicker. That's what I feel.
Totally agree. Thank you for your time. And I'm so happy that you found love in the most profound place.
Thank you.
You found love with God and in your husband.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's just the beauty of how God makes up for years of, you know, abuse, whatever form it comes, or whatever challenges we have. It's 100%. Been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Next week on Story Before Glory.
I grew up as a Christmas. I got into a place where I could look at a woman and go, I know what having breakfast in bed